and I will admit. All right, I think we've got a bunch of people in here, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Thanks everybody for waiting. So welcome everyone, and thank you for tuning in this afternoon. My name is Joey Cathy, and I'm the head organizer here at Dcxr and the founder and chief experience designer at Capital Interactive, which is a creative and product development agency that specializes in immersive media. So for those of you that are joining us for the first time, let me give you a brief introduction on what Dcxr is all about. We started out in 2014, as many meetup groups do. It was a couple of people who were geeked out about VR, and we wanted to share that passion with other people. You know, at that time, the Oculus Rift and the HTC Vive were still under development. So a large driving force for us was the actual anticipation of their arrival and not actually having the headsets themselves. So flash forward to today, and Dcxr has since become a community of over 2,200 people, designers, developers, filmmakers, and enthusiasts, all of that same passion and excitement for immersive technology. And while our name has changed from DCVR when we first started to Dcxr to reflect the industry changes, our mission hasn't changed. The Dcxr's goal is to educate the community on the latest trends in XR, highlight how companies are actively using the technology, and to connect XR creators with opportunities in the industry. Dcxr members have worked with organizations like Amazon, the US Air Force, Discovery Channel, NASA, and have started startups, arcades, and game studios. So as we continue on, we'll continue to be a hotspot for local innovation, to facilitate conversations, and to provide opportunities for everyone in the immersive technology industry to flourish. We've got a big chain of introductions to do here tonight. So I'd like to turn it over to Sammy Popet, who is the head of Maverick at the University of Maryland and one of our awesome co-sponsors of tonight's event. Sammy?
Hey, thanks, Joey. So yeah, I'm Sammy Popet at the University of Maryland, and I'm the interim director of Maverick, which is an acronym for Mixed Augmented Virtual Reality Innovation Community. Nothing better than a big acronym to get people excited. So our organization is sort of a microcosm of Dcxr at the University of Maryland, really helping to support our university community, helping to get our faculty, our students, even our alumni excited, interested, and thinking about where can they get involved in either career readiness, research, maybe start a venture. So we're excited about what we can do with XR at the University of Maryland. We're happy to have people like Joey and Shana being involved with us. And we're really excited about today's lecture or presentation with Shana and George. So I'm gonna actually turn it over to Shana, who is the co-founder, CEO, and creative mastermind of Navteca, a technology company that has been pioneering the use of VR technology for earth science, working closely with NASA and others to push the boundaries of GIS data visualization. And Shana also co-founded or founded the nonprofit organization Climate Warrior Collective to raise awareness about climate change and make caring about the earth more modern and relevant to our populations. So Shana, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Sammy, and thank you, Joey, for inviting me to help lead the conversation today with the amazing artist, George Sabra. George is a national and internationally acclaimed artist, primarily known for large physical installations using reclaimed materials, often with an environmental theme. And what's really exciting is he's now also made a transition into the digital space and used virtual reality to create one of these art pieces. So with that, I'd like to have George, if you want to just briefly give a few words of introduction, and then I have some questions for you about your artwork and how we can learn about this really exciting foray that you've made into the digital space, into the immersive space.
Well, thank you, and welcome everyone. As Shana said, I do large-scale public art in the intersection between the environment and human activity, or the impact of human activity on the environment. And I have been addressing multiple issues, including pollution, waste, global warming, and climate change. So
I think,
go
oh,
ahead.
sorry. I think we have some images too that we could pull up that would be
Sure.
helpful background information. So just so everybody can see some of the physical pieces that George created previously. George, maybe you could tell us a little bit about this particular piece called El Plástico, and what it was made with and where it was located, that kind of thing.
Yeah, El Plástico, it's actually it's commissioned by the Underwater Museum of Art in Florida, which is newest underwater museum of art in North America. And the
I didn't know
artwork,
there was an underwater museum.
I know this is what the first one. So, and El Plástico, as you see in the image, is replicating 2-liter Coca-Cola, actually plastic bottle Coca-Cola. And it's built completely out of environmental concrete, which is contain a lot of limestone in the recipe of the mix to help the coral to grow on the outside surface of the artwork. And also
the artwork is a living piece where the coral actually attaches to it.
Yes.
That's
really cool. And also it's hollow from inside with the open, as you see, the recycling logo. So a creature, sea creature can maybe be home for the sea creature.
Yeah.
So what inspired me to do this piece is to actually it's deployed 60 feet under the surface of the water in the Gulf of Mexico. And the interest me and inspire me to do this artwork is to send a message from the bottom of the ocean about the plastic pollution.
Wow, that's really powerful. It's definitely something, that's on all of our minds, of course, as the climate crisis continues to worsen. And, and of course, with the last week and this week, the meeting of the United Nations, COP26, it's, been in the news a little bit more. Let's move to the next piece, which I think is also created with reclaimed plastic. And it's very colorful. I love the use of color here. If you want to talk a little bit about how you use color and sort of natural forms.
Sure. Yes. So this piece is commissioned by the City of Boston Sustainability Department, and it's created in cooperation with the community. That is community engagement artwork, and to talk about really the plastic and the shape of the artwork. Actually, it's taking one frame of tornado storm, and it built on metal structure, and we assemble all this plastic object on the artwork. And the engagement for the community was by collecting all this item, cleaning lake and street and park. And some people donate some plastic to the projects. So that's one type of the engagement. And the other type of community engagement is assemble those items on the metal structure. And that was the exciting, is engaging the community in the plastic and raise awareness about the issue with the plastic, especially those plastic bottle caps. Most recycling center will not recycle those because it's number 5 or cheap list.
Right.
At the same time, it went up in the landfill.
No, I was gonna say that your comments about engagement, I think, resonate a lot with the XR community, because it's something that we think about a lot when we are creating our immersive experiences, is,
Yes.
how to create that interaction, and the engagement, as you say. And one of the things that you had mentioned also when we had chatted was this idea of playfulness, as being
Sure.
something that you want to include. Joey, can you go to the next slide? I think it's I wanted to show the physical. Oh, okay. Do we have a picture of the knot of the
Yes,
oil
yeah, the
barrels?
next one.
Yes,
This one.
yeah, exactly. So maybe tell us a little bit about this one, because I think this was the jumping off place for actually your transition from sort of physical installation to virtual. So tell us a little bit about the knot.
As you see in the image, and also it's behind me here, that is the physical artwork. Now in my studio, we're doing some maintenance for the work here. Commissioned by the city of Austin in 2015 as part of program and other temporary program also related to. And the artwork actually inspired by when I was reading the news about, a COP21 in 2014.
Right.
Actually,
Which,
will be held in, was held in Paris back then.
right. Yeah, I just wanted to provide that context for everybody. You probably heard of the Paris Accords, and that was,
Yes.
what came out of COP21. Sorry, George, continue.
Oh, no worry. So, and I want clearly do an artwork in response to that summit and to the goal of the summit. So I did this project. I collect oil barrels, 55 gallons oil barrels, actually, from all kind of company producing oil, actually. So what you see here is natural color. I did not paint anything, nothing, just use it as is. And each one of those barrels is representing oil company, and to do the statement of the artwork is tying the knot on burning the fossil fuel. So when I was learning more about global warming and the impact of global warming on climate change, I was looking to find, a link in between fossil fuel and objects. So the oil, the fossil fuel, it's not only oil, right? So the only thing I can find interesting object is the oil barrels, and that is why I use the 55 gallons oil barrels, because it's available, and still in use to this.
Yeah.
So,
and I know that you were planning to actually create a oil barrel physical installation for COP26, which is the summit that's taking place now. And, that plan had to change because of the pandemic. So tell us a little bit about, what first gave you the idea of not just abandoning the idea of doing artwork for COP26, but, actually being able to move into this sort of immersive digital format instead. How did that come about?
Yes, again, most of my inspiration came from reading news and learning more about what's happening in the world. And, as a COP is, you can say it's the climate sphere. So actually in the early 2020, I was reading about the COP26 will be to be held in to be hosted with the UK and Italy as a partnership. And when I was reading more about the goal and the statement of the summit, it's talking about emission. There's too much focus about emission, and then that is what inspired me to reconnect my 2015 artwork, the knot. Now we're going to make it the big knot. and instead 32 oil barrels, I'm going to make 196 oil barrels.
Wow. So you had planned to bring 196 oil barrel sculpture on site. But of course, with the global pandemic, and it looked like for a long time, COP26 was going to be entirely virtual. Is that what gave you the idea to move to a digital platform?
Exactly. So when we was in communication with the UK host about exhibiting the artwork in Glasgow, in the beginning of 2020, there was concern about, even making the summit virtual. So, and the idea born back then because of the pandemic, they postponed the summit to 2021. And from that time, I thought to start making a virtual artwork. So allow people, if the summit went virtually, I can also, exhibit my art virtually and be available to everyone around the world, not only the people who attend the summit.
And that's a really great point in terms of accessibility, is that the original plan for the artwork to be on site in Glasgow would have limited the people
visitors,
who could, the visitors, at least those who could experience the true impact of that physical presence of 196 oil barrels. And now you're opening up, the experience to potentially millions of people worldwide.
Absolutely. If Joey can show us the next slide.
Yes, that's what I was just
to share with them.
Yeah, to look at the actual digital piece. So had you worked with virtual reality or 3D modeling previously, or was this your first experience doing so?
Normally when I design my art, all my work is designed in 3D model. So that is basically what I do. But as a virtual reality, this is my first experience.
Okay.
And let me give them just a little bit of background about the big knot is 196 oil barrels. And because the 196 is representing the 196 country that participating in COP26. And each country, as you see, is represented by flag. So each barrel does have a nation flag on it.
What was sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, please go ahead.
Well, I wanted to get back a little bit to the fact that this was your first time using VR, which is tremendous, that to go from having never used the technology before to actually presenting this, very significant piece of artwork in an immersive platform. Was that difficult, to learn to use the tools and the 3D model? Or was that just a natural, process for you? Tell us a little bit more about that, sort of the technical side.
Well, as I mentioned, and I normally spend a lot of my time in my previous project building 3D model. So that is the easy part for me, is building the 3D model. Now shifting to the Unity, learn more about game engine. It's not easy, really. Maybe it's easy with simple thing, but when I start building an example, the 3D model of the Scottish Event Center, where is the summit will taking place. I start having a little bit, challenge of understanding how, collaborating with with each program like Autodesk, Blender, and Unity, and it's not easy. But the most sensitive one was Oculus. When you know when exporting the experience to multiple device, this is what the most challenging thing. The easy one was the computer part, but difficult one was the Oculus. It's so sensitive, and it accepts, especially with a lot texture here. We have 196 texture, and the camera can handle, the camera on the Oculus can handle certain megabyte per second. So that was some challenge, but I'm there. I was able to create the artwork, export it on many platforms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and one thing that I'm struck by from the piece itself, and I think we have a video as well.
Yeah, we have a different images. Maybe it show the Scottish Event Center here.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So you can see the building, which is this. There is another image, I think, Joe, behind this is the show the campus from the top. The one after that. Yeah, the next one. Yes, that one. So here is the no, the one. Yes, this one. This is the Glasgow Campus Center, which is a beautiful, amazing building they have in Glasgow. The one on the left is called Armadillo, and the circle one, it's called Hydro. And the corner one, it's just a random building. But that is the site where is the summit take place in Glasgow. And it took me a little bit time to really design all this.
Well, an added benefit is that you've now brought us all to COP26 to Glasgow, which is, one of the amazing things about virtual reality, of course, is that you can transport people
exactly,
to other and things, right? I was thinking about the fact that actually by you doing this virtually, you lessened the carbon footprint considerably, versus shipping this sculpture on site. So do you think that you will continue to develop in virtual reality after this, even when we go back to more in-person events?
Absolutely. The beautiful about virtual reality, it's so easy, for the people to enjoy it because it's kind of like entertainment. And that is the main thing, is how to deliver the environmental message to the public in fun and, again, a playful way, and let them be engaged in issue like climate change. All this work I did here really is just to engage them, like in what's happened right now, in Glasgow. I built the site and I built the artwork to talk about, this issue of burning the fossil fuel. So, and I'm presenting that in fun way, engaging way, and that is, could be reach everybody around the world, and that is very important. The major thing and focus for my art is how to engage the public in the issue through the beauty of the art, through the simplicity of nature. And I think the virtual reality is, maybe in public place could be 1,000, 10,000 people around the piece, but in the virtual, in the technology, XR technology can reach out to millions and millions of people around the world and delivering the environmental message to everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that, you and I definitely overlap a lot, as we've tried to do with Climate Warrior Collective, is really trying to use technology to tell stories that can really impact people and create a sense of empathy. But also, like you said, using something that's engaging, that's fun, that's playful, that's not just feels like, doom and gloom, which I think is, unfortunately how a lot of times, climate is talked about to necessity because we're, not in a good situation, but we do want to give people, that sense of hope and beauty and connection to nature, like you described. Joey, can you go back to where we see the sculpture a little bit more closely? Because there was something else that struck me. Yeah, that's great. George, when you were describing the inspiration for the term, the knot and big knot of like tying the knot of, eliminating fossil fuels, I also, and this is where, of course, like art is always open to interpretation.
Sure.
I was also struck by actually, we are tied in a knot as an international community. We are all connected to each other. And you've really captured that with, all of the flags on the oil barrels, is that we can't just, we can't disconnect from other parts of the world. What happens, globally impacts everyone. And so that meaning of the knot actually, does have additional significance. Have you experienced this in VR with, have you seen people's reactions to it, of actually, seeing it in the immersive experience?
Yes, the beautiful, the colorful, I think the colorful, natural, when you put all this flag together, in piece of art, that's, many people, they really give me feedback, especially in different part of countries. Everyone would like to walk around the artwork to see their flag, their country flag, right? So that's for me is so important, to see that type of attachment and engagement.
Right.
And bonding, as you don't see only one country, see all this world now could be together, ending the issue with, the relying on fossil fuel, ending the relying on fossil fuel. So the people, they look at it as a design. When I designed the big knot, actually, I put two theme in my head. One, which is always I use, is how I can create an artwork in the natural form, At the same time, as you see, the knot is phenomena exists in nature, so simple. At the same time, I wanted to have the flow of pipeline, so people get it immediately, get the shape, the reason for the flag, and the idea of using oil barrels. Actually, I get a lot comment on the knot also by using the oil barrel. People, they love the scale, who try to use the app, and the enjoyment of discovering like a wife, and I think some a gentleman with his wife from Poland, and she went walk all the way to see only the flag was in the top of the artwork.
Yeah, no, and I'm wondering, in your experience then of sort of seeing people with the immersive experience, and of course for many years you've been doing the physical pieces, is it a similar experience when you are able to be with the artwork in person versus being with the artwork inside of the immersive experience? Is that a similar reaction? Are there differences? What have you seen with that?
Personally, the first time I saw my art in the Oculus headset, I love it on personal level, because I design it on 3D. I still see it on the 3D as a computer-sized screen. And when when I, when I saw the first time the artwork in when on Oculus, it's very close. You can tell, it's very close to the real, very close, because the flag is a flag. When we're going to paint the flag on the barrel, the plan was by painting artists can paint their the flag on, inviting more artists to engage in painting the flag on the barrels. So you will see it as it not big different between real world and in the XR, whether VR or augmented reality. I tried it in augmented reality also. It's beautiful.
I was gonna ask you about that for the future, because one of the things you mentioned about your early pieces was how important it was for you to have the community engagement, and you actually had, like with the plastic storm, people, placing the bottle caps onto the piece. So is there an element of engagement that you think you will bring into this in the future, where people will be able to digitally paint or graffiti or something onto the work?
Absolutely. If you look to the website, there is page talk about the educational program. So that was our hope to accomplish, is to be able to even walk through how I built the artwork, not only painting. The plan was even to offer, because when I built this physically, I built a massive press to crush the barrels down and fold it. So I did similar experience in the 3D world, but we did not publish it yet.
Okay.
So people, they can really bring barrel and crash it down and bend it and paint it and assemble it. So they can
that's fantastic. I think most people will be very excited about being able to crush an oil barrel virtually.
Yes, that is our goal, is really not only sharing the artwork when people, they can explore it, walk around it and interact. Actually, there is interaction part. I did not talk about that, but it's available only on the computer. If you click on the American flag, it tells you how much the rate of this country and how much they pollute. As an emitter.
All right, I love that, because that's all, that's my work to a T, is really bringing in the data element. So that's really interesting that, you had that. And just so everybody knows, you can see this for yourself. Joey's put up a QR code, and if you go to the bignot.world, you can access both the web VR version and also download. I know Oculus is still in review and that's coming, but even just on the web VR version, you can try it out and interact. So do you plan to bring in more of the data, like some of those statistics about how much fossil fuels different countries are using? Is that a future development?
Yes. So the idea is in this artwork interaction, when people click on the barrel, you click on the United States, it tells you how much emissions and where are standing. It's the second emitter or polluter in terms of emission in the United States. So in the same bar, you can it take you to different page if you want more information about how much they accomplished since COP21 to now, and what the progress they made on reducing the emission. So it's sort of educational, but step by step. Yeah. So now you see the beauty of artwork, and then you will click on it, interact, see little information, little sign. It tell you some information, and then click more, you go to deeper learning. So that is the plan for actually that artwork. But as a future, yes, I would love to keep going in that direction of, bring more attention to the climate change and to the global warming through the technology and through the entertainment, to be more engaging in that in those issues.
Yeah, and I think again, that's from the XR community perspective. That's always something that we are always looking to do, whether it's educational and training, or whether it's understanding scientific data, or something that just is purely entertainment. It's all about that, of inspiring people, wowing people, engaging people.
Sure.
And you've definitely hit that with this. And one thing I think we had been talking about previously is that climate change often is just so depressing. It's like we
Sure.
haven't made the progress that we need to internationally. There has been some good news this week, of China and the United States saying that they will cooperate, but we haven't seen necessarily big pronouncements and action coming out. But it seems like your pieces really do have a sense of hope, right? It's colorful. It's not death and destruction. So is that something that you want people to take away, is a sense of hope from your artwork?
Absolutely. I mean, as normally the art in general is give hope. The art is that is something important. So in my artwork, I use the shape, and the shape is always inspired by nature. As I said to you, it's like the shape of the knot is a flow of nature and flow of energy. And I think the idea here by shape, connecting the people to the nature, reminding, in our inner deep, we love nature, we love green, we love trees, we love flower, we love sun, and all this, amazing, and all this also colorful. So
Yeah.
as you see in my artwork, that joy, it's a joy and a flow of nature. And at the same time, you're talking about serious issues, right? So that is what I'm hoping people, be more attractive and more understanding. Yes, big problem could be solved. The thing is we all part of this emission. We all driving cars, go to work, go home. So we all part of that emission and the pollution. And at the same time, maybe if we more, have different choice of ending that, if we can push for that, or be aware of it as a first step, and maybe that good for the future. Yes, now I'm learning more about emission. I'm learning more how the emission affect me. That's emission, we breathe it.
Right. And I think as a takeaway from your piece and from this discussion is that's so beautiful, is that we are all connected. We are all in this together. We are all part of this big knot. Our connection to nature, to the natural world, to each other is so important. And the collaboration and the sense of connection that people can get through artwork, whether it's a physical piece or now a virtual piece, is fascinating and wonderful. So thank you so much, George, for sharing all of that with us. I wanted to make sure that we leave some time for some questions. Oh, perfect. Joey has pulled up the sort of VR version, and I know he's been sharing in the chat all of the links so that you can see for yourself. and share out, right? That's your hope, George, right? That this will be shared out to others, and everyone can experience it for themselves. It's definitely a living piece as you add more of the data and have the vision, you know, to maybe make it augmented reality or other things. So there are a couple of questions that have already come through that I wanted to ask you. So one is circling back to some of the technical components, in that you had said that the computer version was doable, but that the Oculus version was more difficult to make. And so we were wondering if you could expound a little bit more on that. Why was the Oculus version more difficult? Why, you know, if you can give some insight into that.
Oh, yeah. I think there is always updating software, updating on Unity. Like some of the Unity, an example, 2020 is working fine. If you change it to 2021, it will not work fine. So there is some issue with Oculus and Unity. So, and the other thing is there is a limitation, as I explained to you in the beginning. You know, if you focus the camera on 100 and 200 texture in the same moment, with you start moving around with, if the texture is more than, an example, 2 megabyte or 1 megabyte, you have now 200, you know, 400 megabyte in one area. So that was one of the difficult. I have to reduce that texture, an example, to reduce the quality of the flag image in order for Oculus to be okay, you know, in receiving, you know, I don't know how many million pixel every second when you move in Oculus. An example, if you put the trees, you see in the computer version, I have trees, and all these trees was moving, alive trees. I could not do that in Oculus.
Okay.
There is certain thing, you know, you can't really load it too much.
Right.
You know, but as a artwork by its standalone, it is fine. When you start adding the campus and the building, you know, and start loaded, it little bit. Maybe I need to learn more about Oculus. I'm not saying anything.
Yeah, there's probably lots of people here in the community who could share some tips and tricks with you about, you know, how to reduce the polygons and how to do some.
The polygon is very reduced. I went to all these steps and I reduced the polygon for a minimum. You know, I follow everything, but it's still. Maybe it's a huge scale, you know, it's not room scale, it's a huge, big size.
Right.
So that is maybe could be the issue, the size, the sizing.
Yeah, well, I hope you get through your Oculus review soon.
Sure.
So that it'll be available in this.
Now, as you see it in the video, when is Joey playing the video?
Right now he has the QR code up.
Yeah, if you see it in the video,
it's, yes.
Yeah, it's a beautifully put it. Special, the background sky is rotating also. So I put also flag on the poles, but it's in the last minute I did not export.
Okay.
So.
Well, I love that you included the campus, because like I said, that actually creates then even more of a layer to this, which is bringing people on site to COP26 in Scotland.
Exactly. That's and the first thing I thought about is how to engage the global community. Global community, they don't have really a lot of country. They have their cell phone, right? But not a lot of them. They have, a VR headset. So my focus was on how to design the app for an example cell phone in cardboard or headset using the cell phone. And that is, important to bring Glasgow and bring the artwork and bring the campus to them through the cell phone. That is my focus. Not too much I focus on Oculus.
Yeah. Well, I love that you actually are inclusive, though, that you really thought about how to reach the most people through web VR, through, like you said, mobile devices, and that, but then also making it available through a headset so people can get the really
Exactly.
full on, 360 4-pi stereo view. So that's amazing. There was another question actually about the flags. So this is great that we're seeing the video here. And
Yes.
they were wondering, was there a particular order in which you placed the flags? How did you decide on where different flags would be located in the big knot?
That, another challenge. So I get those flags from the UN website, and I follow the UN sorting, the alphabetic.
Okay.
So
you follow, so it's the UN's fault if
Yeah.
somebody doesn't like where their flag is placed.
Yeah, this is not my responsibility. This is
Yeah.
the UN. So
Well, that's very diplomatic that you just went in alphabetical order.
Yes. So, but in the educational program, we hoping to develop in the future,
Mhm.
people, they can choose their flag wherever they want. They can put it in the front.
So they can
in the
move
back.
it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, like everyone can choose wherever they want to put their flag. That is the beautiful thing. Or you can maybe choose an option, whether alphabet or the most emission or most emitter or less or greener. An example, who is the most greener country on the planet, which is, I think, the Denmark. I'm not sure yet, but so that could be another exciting thing, put in the order of the greener, and then maybe another option, the emitter of the emission could be another option. You click on it, first the flag will be China, second flag in the United States.
Yeah, right. I know. I was thinking that the United States and China, but really they should then be at the tail because, we're the ones who are, we're
either in the tail or
definitely.
in the first emitter,
Yeah, but I was thinking in terms of tail of we're like the dirty part of the world. So yeah, but that's actually really, that could be a very powerful data visualization, is being able to reorder the flags based on those type of numbers, who's the worst polluter, who is doing the most in terms of, carbon reduction. And, that could be something maybe that even can influence decision makers and policymakers.
Exactly.
See that.
My hope is my artwork to be more educational in all kind of direction, is whether art, art education. So when people, they can really walk the step I did walk to create the knot here. I walk certain step, I collect the barrels and I crush them and bend them and put it together like that. But the other thing also, beside the art, we need another education about sustainability, and that is the most important. And that is the part I'm focusing on. This engagement, when, like we said, in fun way, okay, let's hit this button here. Let's see who is the most polluter, the largest polluter, an example. Start 1, 2, 3 all the way. Or let's hit the button here, who is the greener. It'd be more fun. And they know now, well, Denmark is the greener, and maybe United States and other country is the last one on the list. Or maybe they can see their own country where is the rate or where it's sorted. And that is a beautiful thing. You can see how that is the playful way of delivering the knowledge to the people.
Yeah, I can't wait to try that in its future iteration. And I already have some ideas of, places that we might be able to present that. And I can just, I mean, that's really powerful, right? It's like, you don't want your country to be like the ass part of this. So like get with the program and do better.
Yes, absolutely. And that is a beautiful way, and fun way, right? So nobody be offended.
You're right. Right. Those are my words, not yours. So this has been, really, fascinating, George, and I think very inspiring to see how you have adapted and pivoted. Sometimes people are afraid of new technology, and it's something that we in the XR community have had to deal with over the years of people pushing back because they're afraid of this new technology taking the place of something that used to be, physical. And I think that this is a great example of how you can have both, and you can incorporate things from your physical pieces into the virtual space, but go even further. You would never be able to change the order of the flags and the colors on a physical piece the way you can digitally.
And now just I thought about something. I had somebody send me a question here. I would like to. So maybe this could be every year, right? So you click every year, you see what the progress. This country was number 3, now become number 6. So that maybe should be adopted by the United Nations, this project.
Yeah, and it could even be augmented reality. You could have a physical piece where when you hold up your cell phone, you actually see an overlay and the order of the flags, could change.
Exactly, like a data.
Yep. Yeah.
Like,
make it real time.
I would love that. I would love to develop something like that. Sometimes, the resource is not helping a lot.
Right. So is that what are you working on next? Are you going to continue with the big nod, or what's on your plate coming up?
Sure. Yeah, but the focus now is developing all this program we talk about for the nod, the big nod, and to be more like, could be linked always to COP, every year. But the next one now, it's mostly every year, I focus on, there is something called the theme for the year.
Okay.
Or you can say the environmental theme for the year. And that is where I start with. Like an example, I brought you the other day example of the 2017 was the theme for the environmental theme for the 2017 is the pollution. And the minute I was reading that, I was reading also another news about the pollution in London. The air pollution in London hit the highest number, which is 13. Maybe Joey can show some of the images, the exhausted tree. And this is why I did the exhausted tree made out of exhaust pipe and mufflers.
Yeah, very cool. Unfortunately, I think we're almost at time.
Oh, okay.
So I just wanted to, kind of wrap up and encourage all of us, though, to keep up with George's work, to check out the big not.world, to share it. And of course, George, if our community can help you as you continue your learning journey with Unity and these, new technologies, I'm sure that, we may be able to collaborate with you.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions people send me here. I'm not sure if you are aware of it. Somebody just said they want to know about the funding, or maybe I'm getting different on yours. Do you have a same question?
Yeah, I have the question. I was just trying to be mindful to time because I know
Oh, okay.
Joey. So we
No
may
problem.
have to leave
Yeah, I
that
was
one.
going to ask Shayna, George, is it okay if we share out your contact information, or do you have a LinkedIn or an email that you're comfortable
Sure.
sharing with everybody?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Either one, the team at thebignot.world or team at georgesabra.com.
Team at thebignot.world.
Or team at georgesabra.com.
Wonderful. And then Shayna, I'll share your LinkedIn profile. If
Yeah,
anybody
I think I'm on all the platforms,
On
not
all-
TikTok.
all the social media.
All the social media. Oh, sorry. And it's Climate Warrior Collective. I'm trying to type it too fast. If people are interested in the Climate Warrior site. And we've done some work with VR, like 360 storytelling for climate. So yeah, I look forward to being in contact with everybody. Thanks, Joey.
Awesome. Well, Shayna, George, I want to thank you both so much for coming and having this conversation. It was really incredible to hear what everybody's been working on, and I speak for everybody when we say thank you. We look forward to seeing what you guys do in the future.
Well, thank you, and thank you, Maverick, and thank you, everyone, attending this wonderful conversation.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
All right.